Jho Low might be the biggest thief of all time. The kind of money this guy stole makes Doris Payne and Butch Cassidy look like a joke. And worst of all, he had the guts to spend all that money openly like it was nothing. Funny enough, he didn't need a gun to do it. All he needed was ambition and a few rich friends. This guy has partied with the biggest names in the US, including Leonardo DiCaprio. For a thief, I must say Jho Low is quite bold. Jho Low has an interesting story, and it is one you don't want to miss out on, so keep watching till the end. Who is Jho Low? Jho Low was born to a wealthy Malaysian Chinese family. He grew up in Georgetown on Penang Island. Just like most wealthy families in the region, Low's family maintained a low profile. His grandfather, Low Meng Tak, was a business tycoon that originated from Guangdong, China. Meng Tak was into iron ore mining and liquor distilleries in Thailand in the 60s and 70s before entering the real estate business in Thailand, Malaysia and Hong Kong. Low's father, Tan Sri Larry Low Hik Ping, was also a businessman, and he founded MWE Holdings, which is an investment holding company. Jho Low was the youngest of 3 children, and he attended Chung Ling High School and the International School of Penang. He then attended Harrow School in London. The school has some very big names in its alumni, including former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. Right from a very young age, Jho Low was very ambitious, and his time at Harrow School allowed him to mingle with other students from powerful families, including royals from the Middle East and Brunei. He was able to develop a close relationship with Reza Aziz, the stepson of former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak. He further enrolled in the undergraduate program at Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, where he continued to develop bonds with kids of wealthy families from Malaysia, Kuwait and Jordan, and began managing money for his friends and family. How it all started. Jho Low's family was quite wealthy. How else would he have afforded such an expensive education? But he wanted more money. He was smart and calculating, and he did everything for a reason. Right from a very young age, Low knew he needed wealthy and powerful people to become successful. Who else had more money than the royal families from the Middle East? Jho wanted power and influence, and he would eventually get what he dreamt of. After completing his college degree, Jho decided to start a business of his own. His connections with royal families from the Middle East would prove useful at this point. Jho Low spoke to one of his friends from Harrow School. After a quick conversation, they scheduled a meeting with the managers of Abu Dhabi's Sovereign Wealth Fund. Jho already had huge plans, and because he wanted to win and win big, he named his business the Winton Group. After the meeting with the managers of Abu Dhabi's Sovereign Wealth Fund, Jho realised something that he never knew before. Both of the 2 men he met were filthy rich and still in their 20s. Jho knew he could also become rich at a very young age. If these men could do it, there was no reason he couldn't run the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Malaysia. And all the money that came with the job was absolutely mouth-watering, so there was no stopping now. Jho spoke to a few friends from school to get things moving, and it just so happened that the stepfather of his best friend was the Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, Najib Razak. After a series of meetings and a bit of political lobbying, they agreed to establish the One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB. How Jho Low stole billions of dollars from Malaysia. Najib Razak, Jho's best friend's stepfather, became the Prime Minister of Malaysia in April 2009, and after reaching the highest government office in the nation, Jabib had a conversation with Jho Low that would change both their lives forever. This is how it all played out. Najib and Jho decided to invest in the national oil company of Saudi Arabia, PetroSaudi, using government funds. But, unknown to the Malaysian people, the profits from this investment would go directly to the Prime Minister's private bank account instead of the government. This, you could say, was good old-fashioned corruption. Soon, 1MDB invested $1 billion in PetroSaudi. After going through all the due process and getting approval, all that was left was for Jho Low to transfer the money to the Saudi Arabian bank account. Jho was in charge of transferring the funds from 1MDB's account to PetroSaudi's bank account. It was the first time Jho Low had such an opportunity, and he knew if he did not cash out now, he may never find such a lucrative opportunity ever again. So, instead of transferring the funds as he should have, he transferred all the money to his private offshore bank account. How it ended. After a few years of managing one MDB, Jho Low managed to achieve his lifelong dream. He was living a life of luxury and he had billions of dollars in his offshore bank accounts, so it was not time to enjoy all his hard work. Joe decided to spoil himself with a private jet, yachts, and several multi-million-dollar mansions all over the world. He had so much money and it only felt right that he spent it like crazy. Joe partied with several A-list celebrities, including Leonardo DiCaprio and Kim Kardashian. Joe reportedly bought a US $320,000 white Ferrari as a wedding gift for Kim Kardashian in 2011. He also gifted Leonardo DiCaprio several Picasso and Basquiat paintings. Joe reportedly gifted Miranda Kerr diamond jewelry estimated to have a market value of $8 million. However, Joe's lavish lifestyle and greed for money would eventually bring his downfall. Funny enough, as if he was trying to mock the people he stole from, Joe paid $100 million to entirely finance the 2013 movie The Wolf of Wall Street, using the money he stole from the Malaysian government. Ironically, the movie is a true story of an American fraudster, Jordan Belfort, who defrauded hundreds of investors by selling worthless stock. To make the movie even more epic, Joe cast one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Leonardo DiCaprio, as Belfort and hired one of the best directors in the business, Martin Scorsese, to direct the film. Maybe it was Joe's own way of telling the world what he did, or he just enjoys stealing other people's money and loves watching it too. Jho Low travelled across different continents, conducted shady business deals, and mingled with elite families in the Middle East. But nothing lasts forever. After years of stealing and over $4.5 billion in Joe's account, one MDB came down like a house of cards. One MDB had close to $10 billion in debt and only $20 million in cash due to corruption. By now, you can only imagine the faces of unsuspecting Malaysians after finding out that this level of corruption had been carried out under their noses. Thousands of Malaysians protested against Najib and his corrupt government, and after losing the next election, he was arrested for corruption charges while trying to flee the country. Also, the Department of Justice sought restitution from all the celebrities that received gifts from Jho Low. Leonardo DiCaprio returned the paintings he was gifted, and model Miranda Kerr also returned the diamond jewelry she was gifted. Now, in case you were wondering, what happened to Jho Low? Whether he was arrested alongside Najib, and did he return all the money he stole? Well, the answer to all those questions is no. Jho Low managed to leave Malaysia without getting arrested. He is currently a fugitive on the run. If this guy is ever caught, I am sure he'll spend an eternity in jail for all the crimes he has committed. But that's actually if they manage to catch him. For the time being, no one knows exactly where Jho Low is living. Also, all the money he stole mysteriously disappeared into thin air. There have been claims that he is currently hiding in Macau, but it is yet to be confirmed. A Kuwait court recently sentenced him in absentia to 10 years in prison for a $1 billion theft in connection to the $4.5 billion he stole. There have also been several charges filed against him for various degrees of fraud and money laundering. The only option Jho Low has is to remain in hiding forever, because the day he comes out, the authorities are surely going to get their hands on him. Do you think Jho Low will ever be caught? Let us know in the comments below.